Hello and welcome. Today we're going to make a pencil jig, then we're going to print on it using the Eufymake E1 printer. So what are you waiting for? Alright, I press R on my keyboard, I drag out and make a rectangle. Okay, so I want to radius the corners, so let's give them, let's see what 10 looks like. Let's change it to red so we can see it. I want it to be wider, so let's start with that. So the next thing I would do was do another rectangle, which is R on your keyboard. And I've already measured that, so that would be the heights, well, let's unlock it. The height's 178, so let's do it at 180 to give ourselves some room. And the width is 692, so let's key that in. And then I want to flip that 90 degrees because they're going to go across that way. So that's going to be where my pencil sits. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is T for text, and I'm going to type out pencil jig and change that to engrave. And for me, engrave is blue. So I'm going to put that over there. And let's zoom out. Let's move that into there. And let's move the whole thing over. Command plus to zoom in. So what I thought I'd do is make a jig for 12 pencils, because it's either going to be 12 or 24 in a set, I think. So let's line it up there. And to do that, all we have to do is duplicate this. So Command D, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then let's move that one down. And then let's just move it up a bit, because we don't want to waste material. So now I'm just going to go over here to layers, and I'm going to turn this off for a second. That's the outside bit. So I'm going to click and drag and highlight all of them and say align left. And then I'm going to say distribute vertically. Okay, that looks better. So what I thought I'd do then is also add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in text, in numbers. So T on your keyboard for text, and I'm going to type 1. And that's way too big. Let's change it to engrave. Let's move it to blue so we can see it. Oops. So let's zoom in, and we want that to be a lot smaller. Even smaller. What size are we at? So, oops, Command Z. So let's put that there. So let's duplicate that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's move that one down there. 2. To make the font 20. So can I select all of them and go 20? Yes, I can. And that, and say align vertical line center. I would grab all of these again and say, oops, align right. Maybe something like that. Let's go back over to our layers and let's make that visible again. And let's Command minus to zoom out. Let's make this smaller. And okay, and actually, before I do that, I'm going to just group all of that, because when I go to align it, I can say these two. Well, actually, let's move that up a bit first. So if you want to move it up faster, you can go shift arrow. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to say align horizontal. And then I'm going to grab this and say align horizontal. And then if I select that and say group, and then I could actually say align center. So now I know it's all centered. So all the red it's going to cut out, and the blue it's going to engrave. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is connect my device, which will be up here, and I'll say connect, and there you go, we're connected. I'll also check, I'm using the slats, which is this, but you can select any of these on the P3, so that's good. We'll select all the red and change it all to cut, because it defaults to score. And then under user defined, I'm using the Bunnings Plywood, so I'll select that. And then the engrave, the blue, which is the engrave, and I will select engrave, so they're all engraved. Do I have anything in there? Yeah, I do. 3mm Bunnings Plywood. I could put a backing plate on this if I wanted to, and if you wanted to do that, all you do is just select the outer and go Command D to duplicate, and there's your backing board, which would make it stronger, but that's entirely up to you. So now I have to go over to the machine so that it can read the material, which I haven't put on yet, so I'll go and do that now. Alright, so there's our material. So I'm going to grab all that And I'm going to group it, and then I'm going to move it down here, and I'm going to move that there. I'm going to zoom in because what looks close when you're zoomed out, you can actually shift arrow. Oh, hang on a sec, I'm moving the wrong one. Click that, shift arrow, and we can definitely bring that down. And then I'll say align bottom. And if I select both, using the shift, holding down the shift key and using the arrow, I can bring it down. And then also this one, shift arrow, I can move that closer. So let's have a look at that. Okay, that looks good. So now we would hit process and start, and I'll go over and press the button. So this is the front view, but if you go to the side view, which I prefer, so first of all it'll go through and do all the engraving, and sorry about the noise, that's how loud it is. And then if there was scoring it would do that, and the last thing it does is the cut. Alright guys, I'm back in Xtool Studio. I'm going to hit the T for text and click on my canvas. I'm doing a voiceover because something happened to my recording, so wish me luck. This is my first voiceover. Click and change it to black because that's the colour I want to engrave in. All right, so we've got that ready. So my next step, I'm going to go over to the jig and I'm going to keep ungrouping it by, you can either right click ungroup, you can go up to the top menu bar and ungroup, or you can go Shift Command G and ungroup. So now I'm Command D to duplicate just one of the cutouts for the pencil, and I want to see how big my text is going to be, and I think it's a little bit big inside there. So I'm going to click on my text. I'm going to go up to the toolbar and just have a look at what font size, and I think that looks better. So now I'm back in, I go add canvas. I'm going to select the jig and Command C to copy, or you could right click copy. I'm going to go to canvas 3 and I'm going to paste that, or you can say Command V or Control V. So I'll rename the canvas to jig template for E1, and I've already created above it the print file for the E1. So now I'm going up to File, Export. I'll change the format to PNG. I don't have to worry about the DPI, that's fine. I click on all canvases, deselect the canvas, and select the print file for Eufymake. And then I save it and bring it over into Eufymake. So I've already done my screen capture here, and I'm happy with that. The contour worked reasonably well. So here in Eufymake, I've brought in my text, and I'm going to zoom in And I've also I ended up only bringing in one of the rectangles because I'm not too sure why, but I couldn't line up the jig correctly. So I've obviously done something wrong. So I decided to bring one at a time and just copy and paste them so I could be absolutely sure they're in the right place. So I ended up doing that 12 times. I'm sure there's a much quicker way and I will get to know it. I haven't had my Eufymake long, but I'm absolutely loving it. And if it's in your budget, guys, it's a game changer. It gives you so many options and it's so easy to learn, and I think you're going to love it. Okay, so here I go. Right-click duplicate or Command-D duplicate. Excuse me. And I keep doing that. And as you can see, if I use the mouse, sometimes it does weird stuff. If I use that to move the jig piece. So I just keep using the shift arrow key to put them in place. So here I'm zooming through. Obviously this is sped up because I'm quick, but I'm not that quick. So the most important thing is to get this lined up correctly because that will make or break your project. So I've zoomed in and now I'm going carefully and having a look at them. And some of them I think, okay, well, definitely this one I can move it up. And I just keep going through refining, because once you've printed, you've printed. So I try and get it right from the beginning and I take my time to get it absolutely perfect. Okay, so now I'm zooming out. I'm going to right-click, select all of them, and then right-click and say Align Left. And I guess I didn't even have to do this, but just for neatness and out of habit, that's how I do it. So they're all aligned and I'm ready to start placing my text on the pencil. So I will go up and get the penny text and I'll zoom in so that I can see what I'm doing. And using the space bar, I pan over, grab the text and put it where I want to place it on the pencil. And this is what I mean. If I use the mouse, it does weird stuff sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. So for now, I'm just going to use my keyboard, arrows up and down and shift to make it faster. So I move this into place where I want it to be. I don't want it to be that close to the edge, so I think I need to move it right a bit. That's better. Now I right click, and for some reason this takes me a few goes. I'm in such a hurry, I guess. I keep missing the align vertical center, but that's what I want to do, align vertical center, and this time I think I get it. Yay. So what I'll do now, I will go ahead and copy all that text, copy the text, and then I'm actually moving this up because I saw that it wasn't perfect. So next I'll go and select the text. I had a bit of trouble selecting it, so if you do have trouble, go down to the left on the layers and find that image, which is a PNG, and you can click on it in the layers. So now I'm just simply selecting it, Command D to duplicate and arrow down to move it in place. Then I go back, right click, align, vertical, center. And I've sped it up now because I've shown you two. And you don't need to see me do these one by one. So I'm flying through these, which would be great if I could go that fast. And I can actually see I missed out number 6 there, but I picked that up later on. So we're flying through this. I can't wait to see the finished product. I get so excited when I do new things or things for my granddaughter or my family. So having a look at this, I've realised that by making the text black on some of the colour pencils which are darker, that's not going to look good. And I brought it in as a PNG, and I looked around, I couldn't find a way to change that colour to white. So what I ended up doing was clicking on the adjustment tool at the top, and I set the brightness to 100 and the contrast to 100, and that worked. Sure, I could have gone in and selected text using Eufymake and redone it all, but I decided this is what I do. And in retrospect, looking at this video, I could have selected all of the penny Valiantis names and done the brightness and contrast once instead of doing it 12 times. But that's not what I did. But you could do that, and that would certainly be more efficient than what I'm doing. So I'm going to, in the ink mode, I end up selecting white CMYK gloss varnish. And I actually thought about this to myself, could I just have used white and gloss varnish? I probably could. I'm not too sure. But this is what I went with, and I'm just going to go for it. So I zoom out, take one more last look. I do go down to the layers and make sure all the vector layers are switched off. See how they've got the eyelashes? That means they're switched off. If it's got the eye, they're on, and it's going to print them, and we don't want that. All we want to print is the PNG images, which is Penny's name. So I'm happy that I've got all that turned off. And now I go over and I hit print. So now Eufy is sending it to the actual machine. It comes up ready to print. Obviously you don't go and move your jig or anything silly like that after we've taken all this time to line it up. And now I can either press start, walk over to the machine and press start, or press the start button. Over here on the right, you'll see the height of the object, the estimated time, the amount of ink we're going to use, which I think is great. So I'm going to press the start here on the screen, and I'll see you when it's finished. So this is the next screen it takes you to, actually, and it tells you that the device is preparing the print head and will start soon. I do a quick screen grab so I can keep a record of how long this is costing me, and then I click finish. And if you'd love to watch the process, here they all are. So you can see me sanding, you can see me cleaning, all of that good stuff. So the reason I've decided to come on and do these videos is so in Australia we have some local support, and hopefully we can build a sharing, helping community together. So if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. If there's a type of tutorial that you'd like me to do, please drop a comment below. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I'll list my website, my email and my phone number. I'm working 24 hours a day almost because I love what I do, and if I can help you, I'd love that too. Thanks so much for watching.